This is Ruckus Raccoon.
And this is Teddy Newsworld.
And today at Ivory Rider, we will try to understand America's stand on the radical Islamist onslaught that threatens to tear down modern civilization as we know it. In 2017, the Foreign Minister of UAE left us this ominous warning about radical Islamists invading the West.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision-making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
So he said that, and we were like, yeah, right. F off too, there's no way that's ever gonna happen.
Quite a few years have passed since then. Let's find out how our NATO allies are doing. Perhaps starting with the UK.
Well, Teddy, the English are capable people. They wouldn't let their country and democratic systems get run over by Islamist mobs, right? Right?
Meanwhile...
Well, seems the English have gone soft. The French surely wouldn't let down their defenses. They must have learned their lesson from World War II.
Meanwhile...
But the Germans?
Meanwhile.
The German government is planning to support mosques and other Islamic religious institutions to promote integration. According to Die Land, the German government plans to spend some 7 million euros in supporting around 50 mosques and religious institutions over the coming 3 years, Interior Minister said Friday.
Warum gibt's Europa und warum gibt's nicht muslimische Europa? Warum sind wir nicht alle zusammen? Warum machen wir nicht muslimisch Europa? Was ist der Grund? Warum halten sie sich alles zurück? Meine Meinung, alle Moslems zusammenhalten, alle muslimische Staaten zusammenhalten und loslaufen. Alles wegtreten, was kommt. Das ist meine Meinung. Dabei bleibt.
Ja, es liegt daran, dass man hat es jetzt heute gesehen, zum Beispiel, wie viele Muslime haben wir in Deutschland? Man sagt offiziell 4 Millionen, aber ich gehe mal davon aus, dass es eigentlich 10 Millionen sind. Man müsste doch eigentlich nur mit 40.000 Leuten vom Brandenburger Tor jedes Wochenende stehen, dann kommt der Konsum zum Erliegen und die Sache ist...
Damn it. The Swedes are new to NATO. I'm pretty sure they aren't suffering from policy paralysis.
Meanwhile.
Sweden had one of the lowest levels of gun crimes in Europe. But as per reports, now Sweden is the second highest. In Stockholm, gun violence is roughly 30 times that of London. In a lot of these crimes, immigrants are seen to be involved. And what Sweden is going through is called by some of its neighbors the Swedish condition. Now, a large number of the refugee population is dependent on state to survive. This is a huge burden, even on the economy of a wealthy country.
Guess what? Turns out that dude from UAE knew what he was talking about.
Have any of our NATO members been able to put a lid on this clown show?
Well, there is one ruckus. Hungary under Viktor Orban seems to have pulled itself back from the brink of being run over.
Meanwhile.
Egyetlen megoldása van a migránsválságnak, ez pedig az, hogyha nem engedjük őket belépni Európa területére. Csak az jöhet be az Európai Unió területére, akinek a menekültügyi eljárását már lefolytatták. Lefolytatták, és pozitív módon bírálták el. És addig az érintettnek kívül kell maradni Európa határain. Ha ezt nem tudjuk előállítani, ezt az állapotot nem tudjuk előállítani, akkor mint halottnak a csók kis túlzással. Minden más. Ezért a magyar modellt kell követni. A magyar modell az elmúlt években erre épül. Ezért nincs Magyarországon migráns gyakorlatilag. Ezért néznek ránk irigykedve azok, akiket elárasztanak a migránsok. Mert Magyarország egy saját modellt épített föl.
But Teddy, isn't that a bit too harsh on the peaceful, innocent Muslims trying to slip through our fences? Okay, I heard that in my head.
No, that's a good concern. I'll let Bridget Gabriel answer that.
Since you brought it up, allow me to elaborate with my answer. There are 1.2 billion Muslims in the world today. Of course, not all of them are radicals. The majority of them are peaceful people. The radicals are estimated to be between 15 to 25%. You're looking at 180 million to 300 million people dedicated to the destruction of Western civilization. So why should we worry about the radicals, 15 to 25%? Because it is the radicals that kill. Because it is the radicals that behead and massacre. When you look throughout history, most Germans were peaceful. Yet the Nazis drove the agenda. And as a result, 60 million people died. 6 million were Jews. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at Japan prior to World War II, most Japanese were peaceful as well. Yet Japan was able to butcher its way across Southeast Asia, killing 12 million people, mostly killed with bayonets and shovels. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. On September 11th in the United States, we had 2.3 million Arab Muslims living in the United States. It took 19 hijackers, 19 radicals to bring America down to its knees, destroy the World Trade Center, attack the Pentagon, and kill almost 3,000 Americans that day. The peaceful majority were irrelevant.
Okay, I'm getting the point. But all that ruckus is on the other side of the pond. Nothing's happening on American soil yet, right? Right?
Meanwhile.
Education is one of the most important areas that Muslims have to address. And while our objective, our final objective, is not just to become part of the system that we experience now and that we see, our objective, our final objective, is to create our own Islamic systems, and not only create Islamic systems for Muslims, but to look at all the other people who are sharing this country with us as potential Muslims. And if we look at them as potential Muslims and feel that we have the obligation, which Allah has told us, to try to bring them into the same style of thinking, into the same way of behaving, into the same objectives that we have, then we have to have some way that we can communicate with them and some way we can work with them. And in that long-range process of making America Muslim, all of America Muslim, then we have to have some actual short-range goals.
The first one is in Hancock, New York, about 145 miles northwest of Manhattan. What's going up in Hancock?
There's actually a place there called Islamburg. They have a sign that says, "Welcome to Islamburg." It's about a 60, 70-acre large compound, and it's the headquarters for a group called Muslims of the Americas that follows a radical cleric in Pakistan. The videotape that's on the screen is something that was given to me by law enforcement, showing them engaging in guerrilla warfare training at that Islamburg compound.
Okay, so Islamburg, upstate New York, they have weapons. It's private property.
Right.
All right. They're training on the property. Can the authorities do anything about it?
Beyond monitoring them, no, because they're not listed as a foreign terrorist organization. FBI documents that we've obtained do show that they consider them a threat, but because they don't have that designation, they're able to operate in the U.S. and we have a dozen.
Do you know how many people are up at this compound?
That specific one, no, but the estimates of the number of members that this group has across the country, they say they have 22 of these places across the country, is somewhere around 3,000.
Training ground, wow.
New Yorkers say they're shocked after seeing Muslim patrol cars roaming their neighborhoods like police squads. These Muslim community patrols just began operating in Brooklyn this year, and according to the Council on American-Islamic Relations, they are the first of their kind in the United States. The patrols sprang up as an apparent response to some 14 biased incidents against New York Muslims in 2017. Actually, a rather low number, considering there's over 8.6 million people living in the city. According to the group's vice president, Noor Rabah, the group currently has 30 members, but plans on rapidly expanding to cover the entire city. He describes the Muslim patrols like a neighborhood watch, but on steroids, with members dressed like police officers and driving cars identical to police squad cars. Residents say they're uncomfortable with the patrols, which they describe as being similar to Sharia police. Others have raised doubts about the purpose of the patrols, saying New York's police department is already very diverse, and their only job is to patrol the city streets and protect people from harassment or crime. So why does there need to be a Muslim group tasked with the same job as the police? Even other Muslims have raised questions about the need for the patrols, with residents expressing fears this is just another form of Sharia law enforcement. Similar groups can already be seen in other major European cities in Denmark, Germany, France, Sweden, and Britain. These patrols have been going on for years, and a CNN report caught Muslims from a patrol in London harassing residents. In Whitechapel, one man can be heard insulting a gay man, calling him offensive names and telling him he wasn't welcome in a Muslim area. Others denounce residents for drinking, claiming this is a Muslim area and alcohol is not permitted. They also harassed a woman as she was crossing the street, warning her that her short skirt was not allowed in Muslim areas. And now, with the arrival of these Muslim patrols to New York City, Americans are becoming worried they'll fall under the same harassment for not following Islamic practices.
What the F, man? What's Harris doing? She's VP right now.
Nothing. She's just being woke if.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
You must have the courage to object when they use that term, radical Islamic terrorism, which ignores how Muslims have overwhelmingly been the greatest victims of terror. And we must also have the courage to reject that term illegal alien. I have seen some of the worst of criminal behavior. I have seen the worst of crime. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
But the Islamists hate all kinds of woke people.
You think nobody tried to tell them that?
The experience of ISIS is not so long ago. The Islamic Republic of Iran is in place. Hamas was actually governing Gaza. And what were they doing to homosexuals? I don't think that they've gone so far as to call them by the acronym LGBTQ and queers and the rest of it. They're not that sophisticated in it. But they throw them from tall buildings. Families, if you're a Muslim family and within your family there's someone who is suspected of being gay, it's the obligation of the family to commit an honor killing. So it doesn't even go as far as the government and tribunals and trials, but when that happens, it's done quite publicly, and it's done in the most gruesome fashion. So Queers for Palestine, I think, is another manifestation of how our society is really becoming stupid. Yeah.
It's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive, and this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this?
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. And she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice, yes, go do that, But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
And what's Trump's take on this?
Well, Trump's standing his ground.
The choice for every voter this November is clear. You can have a president who lets thousands of radical Islamic terrorists into our country, or you can have a president who throws radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country and gets them out fast. Crazy. On day one of my new administration, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. We have no choice. This is not sustainable.
That should be everybody's stand. That shouldn't even be an issue.
Well, it's not that simple. You see, however history books portray stuff, it can be argued that the U.S. hasn't actually decisively won a single conventional war since World War II, except for maybe the Gulf War.
Yeah, we ran away from Vietnam. Nobody found bioweapons in Iraq. We did get Saddam and Gaddafi, but then Iraq, Libya, and Syria. All of it exploded in our face. We got Osama from deep inside Pakistan, the country we propped up with money and arms to fight the same goddamn guy. We fought a bloody 20-year war in Afghanistan to get to him and the Taliban, who we created to counter the Russians, but then we ran away again and the Taliban is happily back in power. Trillions of taxpayer dollars lost, millions of lives, both American and foreign, down the goddamn drain, and we got nothing.
Well, now it actually gets worse. Because we always did shit on foreign lands and ran away and never faced any consequences. Because, you know, we thought that what underfunded terrorist or guerrilla is gonna cross a bloody ocean to get revenge? It's too costly, and we control the dollar and oil prices. We have never, I repeat, never prepared for war on American soil. But now, for the first time in modern history, somebody has money enough to bankroll such an audacious plan.
Wait, you mean China?
And its rich Middle Eastern friends. I'm sure many of them hate us enough to try to destroy us from within. Taking down our European allies first seems the geographically logical first step.
But this is an existential threat. I mean, this shouldn't even be an election issue. It doesn't matter who wins. If illegal immigration is not addressed, it will be the destruction of the American way of life. What's happening in the UK and the rest of Europe is clear proof of that. The voters understand this, right? Right?
Meanwhile.
We don't